Hey guys, I'm Gabby and welcome to my channel if it's your first time here, and if you're returning, thank you so much and welcome back. So guys, this video I'm just going to be talking with you like one-on-one, giving you my thoughts and opinions of what I felt was helpful for me in my particular case for my husband's immigrant visa and my stepdaughter's immigrant visa. When it comes to getting an immigrant visa, you have to think about it from the eyes or the lens of the consular officer. This person does not know you, and they have maybe 10 to 15 minutes to look at your case in front of them and determine if you should qualify for this visa. So the onus is really on you to tell them why you qualify for this visa and why you should be approved. So always keep that in your forethought. And on the same token, when we're talking about the onus being on you, you also have to take a look at your case, an honest view of your case, and see if there are any red flags, if there's any issues. Have you been denied a visa before? Have you overstayed a visa before? Have you had multiple marriages, maybe one with another US citizen? We know what things would be considered a red flag, things that may make people take a step back and kind of wonder or second guess the situation. You have to look at those things and be like, okay, I have these red flags, so how can I address them? What documentation can I present to the officer to show, yes, this is a red flag. However, this is how I'm correcting this red flag, or this is how this red flag is okay. You have to think of it from that. You are basically telling your life story. I always say that you are presenting your case to them. So you have to be very detailed in how you present it. You have to make it very plain so they can understand it. So you're doing that when you're filling out your applications correctly, not omitting things, making sure you're double checking so you're not making any mistakes. You're doing that by submitting documentation that can back up and validate what you're saying. You're submitting documents and evidence that can overcome your red flags if possible. All of these things are what you should be doing to help establish your case and possibly avoid getting refused and getting your immigrant visa. I'm going to use myself for an example. When I submitted for an immigrant visa for my husband, we identified those red flags that we have. I have a video, I'll probably link it above, talking about red flags. We had like two major red flags. One was our age difference, and the second one was that I only came and visited once. Okay, those were two red flags that I knew were going to be an issue and that the officer is going to bring up and want to answer for. So what did I do? The first one, the age difference, there's not much I can do with the age difference other than validate that yes, there is an age difference. I acknowledge that, but this is a real marriage. I'll show you that through our marriage certificates and our evidence of our relationship. The second red flag with me only coming to visit one time, the reason behind that was because I fell sick and I got ill. I could no longer travel. I was hospitalized. So what I did with that is we submitted my medical documentation. We knew it was going to come up in the interview. My husband was prepared to answer that question as to why I only visited one time. There was chat messages and emails regarding my medical condition that we included as evidence whenever we were talking about what was going on with me. And when my family was talking to him about what my medical condition was and how I was doing, I made sure to include all those things. When you're submitting all this evidence, sometimes people like to submit a lot. Don't be naive and think I'm submitting so much documentation, they may not look at that. Be careful what evidence you are submitting, because you may feel like, oh, I submitted 50 pages of chat messages. They're not going to go through those chat messages. Be strategic about what you're submitting in those chat messages. That's what I did. I didn't just download everything we ever sent to each other and was like, here. First of all, nobody wants to read all that. Secondly, I picked out specific things that I wanted to include that established that, yes, this is a real relationship, that serve as rebuttals for our red flag. Like I said, I included messages that was talking about my medical condition, when it was confirmed to him that I was hospitalized, when they were updating how my condition was, when I was talking to him about doctor's appointments. All of those things I was including in there. When there was conversations about our children, I included those chat messages as well. And also, to prove that this relationship was bona fide, no relationship is perfect. I'm human just like you. There's going to be times when my husband and I aren't on the same page, meaning there's going to be arguments. There's going to be times when we aren't getting along and there may be issues. I made sure to include those messages too. When we were arguing with each other, we were having disagreements, I made sure to include those messages as well. When we initially was talking, and I wanted to make sure that this relationship was real and I wasn't being taken advantage of, I made sure to include those chat messages as well, letting them know that, yeah, I know how this can be viewed. I have the same concerns too. So we were addressing those concerns. That's what I'm trying to say to y'all. Y'all have to make it very, I hope I'm expressing what I'm trying to say. You have to paint the picture. You have to put all the things in a row. You need to put things in chronological order, make it make sense. Take them along your relationship journey from start, middle to finish. You have to be very strategic about the information that you're submitting. Don't just throw your package together. Take your time to put your evidence, your documentations in order. Presentation matters, okay? You may have red flags, but it may be something else that you're presenting that makes the officer overlook your red flag, that makes your red flag less an issue. You know what I'm saying? So you have to keep that in mind. So if you know you have a red flag and there's an issue, you have to make sure your other evidence is a little bit higher up there that can make this red flag go down a little bit further. You get what I'm saying? Presentation matters again. When you're presenting stuff, don't just throw your evidence together, put it in order. That's why I was talking to y'all about using little sticky tabs. When I first did the immigrant visa with my husband, we were still mailing in things. So that's why I'm always referencing like sticky tabs, sticky notes, and things like that, putting the packet together. Not everything is kind of electronic. However, when you're going to the interview, you are taking original documents. So this is the opportunity when I'm talking about presenting nicely. In one of my other videos, I kind of showed y'all how I put my documents together. Even my pictures, I didn't just throw my pictures together. If you want to put them in a binder to present to them, that's fine. I took like construction paper. I attached my pictures to the construction paper and wrote out notes and comments underneath it to let them know, to let the officer know who he was looking at, who were in the pictures, explaining why I'm showing you this. For instance, for my stepdaughter, I wanted to prove that her dad was a part of her life from her birth to now. So I made sure to present pictures of them together from her birth until now. And that's the order I put it in, from birth until now. I presented it in that fashion, put it together in chronological order like that, made it neat. All those things matter. Don't be haphazard about how you're presenting your information. Also, do not think whatever evidence that you have is minute, okay? It may appear minute to you, or in somebody else's case, it may be minute. Keep in mind, your case is your case, okay? Each case is an individualized case, it's different. Just because someone has A, B, or C doesn't mean you're gonna have it. You might have D, E, F. You get what I'm saying? Concentrate on the evidence that you have. If you only have chat messages, remember how we were talking about putting in chronological order, picking out significant things, making sure you're showing the true essence of your relationship, major things that are going on in your lives that shows that you're a real couple. Enter those things. Disagreements, enter those things. Major life changes, a birth, marriage, a debt, whatever it is, include those things, okay? I hope what I'm saying is making sense. I feel like I'm going off on a tangent, but what I'm trying to say is what you present matters. How you present it matters too. And make sure you're answering questions that the officer may have. Look at your situation, because if you're married, you know you're going to have to present the marriage certificate. That's a given. You're probably going to want to include wedding photos. You probably want to include photos of your family, acknowledging that this is a bona fide marriage. So events with you and your family and your spouse. If you have children, include your children in those evidence. Whatever ties you together as a couple, maybe y'all share finances, credit cards, bills, include those things. Maybe y'all took family vacations together, or you came and visited each other, include those things. Everything that a normal family would do from day to day, take those things in consideration. And we're talking about red flags. There are issues that you have that may be a reason for you to get denied. Look at those things and figure out what evidence can you submit that justifies, that says, okay, yeah, we acknowledge that this is a red flag, but this is how we are overcoming this red flag. This is why this red flag isn't as big of an issue as you may deem it to be. Okay? For my stepdaughter's case, being that the biological parent was her dad, I knew that there were going to be concerns about her mother being in agreement with allowing her to travel outside of the country. You know, was she okay with this? Did we have a conversation? You know, so because I knew that was going to be a question that came up, we already met with her mother. She signed a letter of consent that we had drawn up with a lawyer and notarized, and that was included in our evidence as well. So that's the instance of knowing what your red flags are, knowing what your issues are, knowing what the officer is going to have concerns with, and addressing those. So we knew the question of, how does her mother feel about this? What does her mother say? We knew that was going to be a question. So we already had that conversation and got the evidence that would serve as a rebuttal to that. And also, because it was her dad, there will be questions of, you're the father. Have you always been in her life? What's your role in her life? So for that, we use the evidence of inserting the pictures, letting them see them together from birth up until the present day. So again, acknowledging the issues or red flags, providing evidence that addresses those concerns. Not only did we include pictures of them throughout her life, we also included information that showed that he was a person that enrolled and paid her school fees, that he was being updated on how her grades were in school, what she was doing in school. We submitted pictures of her grades, showing that, hey, we are in communication when it comes to her grades. We included pictures of different events that she had at her school, showing that we were aware of what was going on with school. We showed pictures of her like wearing uniforms or whatever clothing or whatever that we sent for her. And whenever, like I said, I was putting notes about the people in the pictures and things like that, letting the officer know why we were submitting this particular picture. So whenever we submitted pictures of her at school events wearing the uniforms or clothes, I let the officer know this was a school event she wanted Dad to be aware of. This was her showing the uniforms that Dad just paid for. Any other person may say, why are you doing that? That doesn't make sense. Like, duh, like, why? I'm still thinking out of the box, and I'm going to submit that because I have to present to the officer the information. He or she's not going to assume it. If I don't say it, he or she's not going to know it. I'm trying to validate and confirm why we should be approved for this visa. So I'm going to submit all the information I feel that will validate that. And that's what I'm telling you to do. Somebody else might look at you and say, that's small. Why are you even adding that? If you know why you adding it, if you know what it's speaking to, add it, but make sure you make it clear what it is. And that's the example I gave with the pictures, including the notes, to let them know what it is. That's the key. You're setting the stage of your relationship, why it's valid, why it's authentic, why you qualify for this visa, and why the officer sitting in front of you should approve you for this visa. It's on you to do that. Because the default to you coming in for an immigrant visa is to deny you. It's to say you don't qualify. Finding reasons is why you don't qualify. So it's on you to say, excuse me, sir, madam, I qualify because A, B, and C, and you presented in that order, A, B, and C, chronological order. Make it make sense. Don't be jumping around. Lay it out in plain view that they can follow from beginning, middle to end. Keep that in mind in everything that you're doing. Beginning, middle, and end. Keep it in order. Make it make sense. You're presenting it to the officer as if they are a first grader. So don't try to be overzealous. Make it simple. Make it plain. Make sure they're understanding the evidence that you're submitting. I hope you're getting the gist of what I'm saying. If you have questions, comments, please leave them below. Don't forget to like this video. Liking this video lets me know that it's helpful and you want to see more like it, and so that YouTube sees that you like it and can share it with more people like you who may benefit from it. Share it with those who you feel may find it helpful, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Click that red subscribe button, boo. But no, if you find this valuable, please consider subscribing to the channel. We love to have you here. So thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Bye.